WWE Draft continues, and I had a crazy prediction before the show. I had this weird feeling that Goldberg might talk about his son. Yes, my son! Gage! And shockingly, I was right. He did talk about his son. Raw will never stop finding ways to shock me. Welcome everybody to a brand new episode of Greatness of Raw, a draft episode. Now, I honestly did not mind this episode of Raw. I think we got a few interesting moments. Now, sometimes I just want to make my Raw reviews into my Goldberg impression. Like, that's literally all I want to do during this video. Bobby Lashley? You're next! Bobby Lashley? That's my son! Gage! Now, once we got that out of the way, let's talk about Monday Night Raw. The show kicks off with the man, although I'm not sure how legit that is, Becky Lynch. The man has come around to Raw. She says it feels pretty good to be back on the stage, but now she's about to make a bunch of executives in the back angry by jumping the gun. But she doesn't care because she does what she wants. That was one of the least badass things I've seen in wrestling. I'm about to reveal that I'm drafted to Raw. The WWE officials are gonna be pissed even though they run both shows. Oh my god, Becky, stop. So yeah, she is on Monday Night Raw. Let's not forget she is the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion and technically she never lost the title. Becky says Flair hasn't been the same since they last fought, but Becky has been better than ever and Flair can't stand it. It's time to become Becky 2 belts again. We see Charlotte Flair. Flair is not too sure about Becky 2 belts. She says Becky was just Becky pre-show before Flair made her famous. She says they clearly have some unfinished business, but we see Bianca Belair, who's a Raw superstar right now. She has unfinished business with both of them. She says they both must be threatened by her because they took cheap shots at her on Friday. Flair says that was cute, but the champions are talking. You're standing here, but technically you don't even go here. Man, I'm not an American, I don't get this. Someone explain this to me. Becky wonders what would happen if Belair and Flair ever wrestled. Flair says she only gives out opportunities, not charities. We see the WWE officials and they announce a first ever match. Flair versus Belair in the main event of Raw. Also, and this is where it gets really interesting, a Women's Tag Team Championship rematch. Natalya and Tamina versus Ripley and Ass. Oh my god. You know, I always had a problem with WWE giving out WrestleMania main events on Monday Night Raw. Get me that popcorn, boy, because I'm about to get entertained. And also, the United States Championship match is next. Jeff Hardy versus Damian Priest. But then, we see the first round of the draft. And I gotta say, everything was so predictable. Obviously, Becky Lynch is going to Raw. Obviously, because in such a badass way, such a man way, she announced that earlier. And she's a SmackDown Women's Champion. The SmackDown Women's Champion is on Raw. The Raw Women's Champion is on SmackDown. You know what's about to happen. A championship unification. I don't know how I feel about that. The Usos are going to SmackDown. Paul Heyman is relieved. Pretty expected. Roman Reigns is on SmackDown. The Usos are on SmackDown as well. Raw selects Bobby Lashley. Not sure how I feel about this one. I think he definitely needed a change of scenery. At the end of the day, Drew McIntyre is on SmackDown now, so maybe it would get a little too repetitive. SmackDown picks Sasha Banks.
Yes! Yes! Sasha! Sasha is all blue!
Now that's predictable because SmackDown is blue and Sasha has blue hair. Yeah, I don't mind this one bit. With the current shakeup, it seems like the women's division is about to get really interesting, especially considering the fact we got some new females from NXT. I think it's gonna be a lot more interesting. Heyman and the Usos are happy about the draft. Heyman says you're a lot better looking than Kayla. Ah, you filthy sex machine, Paul Heyman. Patrick says, is that how you maintain Brock Lesnar's status as a free agent? And the mood shifts. The Usos are suspicious. I like how unpredictable this storyline really is. Yes, it may seem obvious that Paul Heyman is with Brock Lesnar, but then again, maybe WWE are just trying to make you feel that way. So then we see Jeff Hardy versus Damian Priest for the United States Championship, which was an interesting match. WWE are definitely giving Jeff Hardy a lot more TV time after the controversy. The 24/7 Championship is so bad. If you appear in a 24/7 Championship segment, we see riots. Jeff Hardy hits Damian Priest with a Swanton Bomb. Priest kicks out and rolls Hardy for the win to retain the championship. I don't know how I feel about wrestlers just no-selling finishers. Obviously, he acted like it hurts, I get that. But he just got hit with a Swanton Bomb and felt like, you know what? I have a chance to do a roll-up. Whatever, we saw a mutual respect. Jeff Hardy is getting interviewed and he says SmackDown is about to see a different side, a different character of Jeff Hardy. For what I understand, Jeff Hardy is teasing his other gimmick, Willow. Never liked it, if I'm being honest, but maybe it's gonna have a different flavor in the WWE. Then we see Austin Theory, who thanks Jeff Hardy for, getting him into wrestling. He was a huge fan growing up, and he just wants to take a selfie. Jeff Hardy is confused, but he says, well, okay, I'm a nice man. So Austin Theory takes a selfie, attacks Jeff Hardy. Apparently he got a new finisher as well. It's interesting because Austin Theory actually asked Randy Orton if he can use this version of a cutter. Randy Orton said, okay, kid. And then he was like, yeah, then I don't need it anymore. Yeah. And he takes a selfie again. Welcome to the main roster. Yeah, that was interesting. Don't know how I feel about it yet. Can't complain. Although it seems like, I don't think that's the case, but it feels like I've already seen this gimmick. Then we see Shayna Baszler versus Dana Brooke. It was exactly what you would expect. Shayna Baszler wins the match very quickly, then attacks Dana Brooke, but we see Doudrop and she saves Dana Brooke. Not sure why, don't care either. More reading, people, more reading. Seth Rollins is drafted to Monday Night Raw. So just like I've predicted, Edge versus Seth Rollins is going to continue. A great addition to Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Rollins is back. Nakamura and Boogs stay on SmackDown, so the Intercontinental Championship is still going to be on SmackDown. Damian Priest stays on Raw, obviously because the Intercontinental Champion is on SmackDown. And Sheamus goes to SmackDown. This is gonna be interesting. This is a brand new Sheamus that always gives us great matches, so it's gonna be interesting what kind of stories Sheamus will receive on SmackDown. We saw Angel Garza and Humberto Carillo versus Mustafa Ali and Mansoor. A lot of talented people right here. And of course, like expected, the cute boys used dirty tactics and won the match. More sports entertainment. AJ and Omos staying on Raw. I kinda expected to see AJ Styles on SmackDown. The man lost so much credibility. It seems like this tag team is still a thing. That's really unfortunate. Shayna Baszler goes to SmackDown. Great. She already, looks a lot more legit. She's getting a push. And her being on SmackDown will hopefully make us forget that she was wasted for like 2 years. Kevin Owens is going to Raw. I'm okay with that. He didn't have anything left to do on SmackDown. And Xia Li is going to SmackDown. So again, the women's division is growing. And I appreciate that. Big E is in the ring, but Drew McIntyre quickly interrupts. He says, you deserve it. I didn't congratulate you because I want to do it in person. And he congratulates Big E. He says, you deserve it. But technically you won against an injured man by cashing in. But nobody likes Bobby Lashley anyway, so I'm okay with that. Nobody likes Lashley? Better ask them women. And he obviously challenges Big E to a WWE Championship match. We see Dolph Ziggler, and I actually like this. He reminded everyone that, Big E needs to thank Dolph Ziggler. Because of Dolph Ziggler, we got the New Day, we got Big E, because, he was Big E's mentor. Drew McIntyre says he's kinda right, but Dolph says, hold on, you're next.
Ziggler? Are you disrespecting legends again? That's my catchphrase that I use for my son, Gage.
And he reminds everyone that Drew McIntyre got to the main roster because of Dolph Ziggler. Then Big E and Drew McIntyre roasted Rude, basically insinuating that Rude is not on their level. Rude says, people call me Big Bob. Nobody calls you that. Big E issues a challenge for a tag team match. Ziggler and Rude versus Big E. Drew McIntyre quickly interrupts. and Big D. D stands for Dick. Or Drew. More likely for Dick. So we saw the very predictable tag team match, and obviously we saw Big E almost hitting his finisher, but Drew McIntyre tags, and he hit Ziggler with a Claymore. Ooh, the tensions are rising. And the match is gonna happen at Crown Jewel, of course. Kevin Owens comes out, but he gets interrupted by Akira Tozawa. But Tozawa wants to fight Reggie, and we saw his stunner. Yay. Stone Cold Steve Austin, everyone. I think he needs to get back to the powerbomb, honestly. Every time I see the stunner, I just think about Stone Cold Steve Austin, and that's not exactly what a wrestler needs. More sports entertainment. The Street Profits are going to Raw. Yeah, I'm fine with that. The Viking Raiders are going to SmackDown. Definitely needed a change. Finn Bálor is going to Monday Night Raw. Yes, he already lost against Roman Reigns, but it will be pretty interesting to see Finn Bálor in the WWE title picture. Ricochet is going to SmackDown. The good news is he definitely needed some kind of a change. The bad news is he was barely on Raw. SmackDown is a shorter show. I don't see many opportunities on SmackDown for Ricochet either. And let's just talk about the rest of the draft picks. Karrion Kross goes to Raw. Yay dildos. Garza and Carillo go to SmackDown. The one thing that this draft did right is, making sure that the women's division and the tag team division is gonna look a lot different. Alexa Bliss stays on Raw, hopefully with a brand new gimmick. Cesaro stays on SmackDown, not sure where he is right now. Carmella goes to Raw, Corey got a boner. Ridge Holland is a man I'm seeing for the first time ever, and he's on SmackDown. The Olympic gold medalist, Gable, is on Raw. We'll see how that goes. And Sami Zayn is staying on SmackDown. I'm not sure why WWE are not using that guy that much right now, but he's just one of the best, and I think Raw needed him more because it's a longer show. You could easily fill in that time with someone like Sami Zayn. Also, we saw the WWE Women's Tag Team Titles match, Natalya and Tamina versus Nikki Ash and Rhea Ripley, and of course Rhea Ripley and Nikki Ash won. I don't like this tag team. We see Goldberg.
I'm inviting Bobby Lashley because I want to break his neck.
It was all a misunderstanding.
Bullshit.
Lashley says Goldberg has engaged in character assassination. He's not the one to blame for what happened to his son, and Goldberg owes him an apology. He will give him a match at Crown Jewel, but under one condition. It's no holds barred.
Yes, Bobby. Bobby! Yes! Yes, Bobby! Yes! I like that stipulation because it gives me an ability to kill you.
Goldberg is going insane. I think the mean comments got to the man. Please stop being mean to Goldberg. My man is going insane. Lashley says if the next time your son is going to try to attack me again, it won't be an accident.
Kill you, Bobby. I'm gonna kill you, Bobby.
Yeah, Crown Jewel, Goldberg wins, lol. The New Day won against Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander because the Hurt Business reunion doesn't mean shit, apparently. And the Street Profits, well, they're on Raw. They advertised Randy Orton versus Omos a lot. Will Omos accept Randy Orton's challenge? And he didn't. We saw a brawl, something we've seen so many times already, so that was really, really forgettable. And in the main event, we saw the Raw Women's Champion Charlotte Flair versus Bianca Belair. That was a decent match, but just another predictable outcome. Becky interferes. She's the man. She has cojones. She has hairy balls. Then we see Sasha Banks. Sasha stands tall. I know many people like this, but for some reason WWE are doing this whole remember what kind of women's matches we had between all these women? Well, we're doing it again. It doesn't work for me. I love nostalgia in wrestling, but not that much time has passed since all of these rivalries. When it comes to women's division, I just desperately need something new. So that was your Monday Night Raw. It was fine, I guess. We got a few cool moments. The draft nowadays is just so shit. But thank you for watching the video, the great one. Peace, love, and hugs. It's been a pleasure.